Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Comicbook Crew podcast. We're your hosts, Brown Clown Down.
I'm Zed.
And my name is Hussein. And basically, who we are is a group of friends that grew up together. And we grew up loving comic books, watching animated series, and watching superhero movies. And we share the same interest. And the reason we're doing this podcast is because we've always sat down together and discussed, like what could have been, what should have been, how the movies were, how the comics were, how these animated shows were. And our friends always encouraged us to, actually do this on a podcast since we sat around and did it with, talked about these like comics and all these stories with each other, anyways. So we thought we'd bring this onto a podcast and share it with the world and see what everyone else thinks of it. And so we're just a group of guys just talking about comics and our passion for the genre. And Zed, you can take it from there.
Yeah, so the idea for the first episode was to kind of talk about DC Fandome since it's an event from Warner Brothers and DC and it's a first of its kind. Kind of talk about what we expected to see and what we actually got. And well, the biggest thing from that, for us at least, was Justice League since there was so much conversation around that. And so do you guys want to get into what you guys expected from that and then I could share it last?
Yeah, so we everyone knows that the 2017 Justice League movie that we got wasn't, Zack Snyder's movie. I think only like 10% of it was probably his, while all the reshoots were Jeff Johns and Joss Whedon. So, everybody petitioned for the Snyder cut, and we finally like got an announcement made that it's going to happen. And then during DC Fandom, like we got a trailer or a teaser trailer for it, which was like a little over 2 minutes long. And
Hallelujah.
yeah, hallelujah. And it was pretty amazing. Like what we got. I know there were people that were saying that, oh, this looks like the same movie, um, but here's the thing that yeah, like the overall plot might be the same with the three mother boxes and them going up against Steppenwolf. But if 90% of the movie wasn't Zack Snyder's and you're getting an additional 2 hours worth, then obviously the movie is not going to be entirely the same.
Yeah, and I
So
feel like I feel like part of the trailer was also just a celebration of finally getting um like being able to do my own movie with no meddling, none of that.
Yeah,
And I think
agreed.
he just tried to celebrate just that fact. He wasn't. I don't think he was trying to even share anything like new besides like the dark side in the beginning instead of Steppenwolf.
yeah, because if you look at the trailer, like there's still some same footage from the very first Comic Con trailer that he dropped when
Yeah.
when they started working on Justice League. So it's not like he was trying to show something very different. He was just trying to show the movie that he was originally working on, which still had some of the same shots from his first trailer. And then we did get some new shots with like Darkseid and Batman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Flash in the Batcave, and the team, the entire Justice League with the
And
Flying Fox.
he also brought the focus back, onto Cyborg. I feel like with this trailer because he showed a little bit more of Cyborg, and then when his dad's getting, he's like vaporizing because of the mother box and all that. Because he talked about Cyborg being the heart of the movie, and I feel
Yeah.
like he wanted to bring the focus back onto Cyborg, what
Yep.
Joss Whedon like failed to do, and
Yeah,
even like they refused to acknowledge that aspect of it.
absolutely. When I was watching that trailer, that's exactly where my thoughts went to that although they showed everyone, but they kind of showed his like pain of his character more so. So I feel like that was very justified with a lot of what he had talked about way back when the movie was still being filmed. I
Hmm.
mean, and I think he talked about that, just Cyborg being the heart of the movie when they were getting into the filming of it, not even when they were actually filming. So that's really cool that they went back to that. And not to mention, a lot of this stuff is what we saw on like over on the Vero in black and
Hmm.
white. Oh, and in like um the back work of it. I can't think of the word right now, but the very choppy work of it, just to show proof that hey, this stuff wasn't made up on the fly over the course of the last 3 years. Well, where the Snyder cut was just a rumor that it
Hmm.
was very fulfilling. And going back to that Hallelujah piece, I know he said on another podcast that that song is like very is very like connected to his family, and that's why he threw it in there. But as a fan, while looking at it and that song played, I was just like, yeah, this is a very hallelujah moment. This was so cool and satisfying to finally get what we had been waiting for, like just what they're calling it now as the director's cut, which is, you know, rightfully so.
Yeah, and as far as like expectations of like what we got during DC Fandom, I think like the Justice League trailer itself, it was great. Like I know it had some of the same footage of what we got before, but even like the new scenes that we got and just the overall tone, the like the fact that we're getting Zack Snyder's actual vision, it was just satisfying on its own. It's not like you can't. I don't know. I couldn't sit there and nitpick about like, oh, this isn't like, oh, we didn't get this, we didn't get that, because we got to keep in mind that Zack is still working on the movie,
Yeah,
and he's still working on it. That's why the CGI with like Darkseid and stuff. I know some people were saying that, oh, it looks very animated, but I mean, he's still working on it. The movies or the TV series, the 4 hour long or the 4 episode long series isn't coming out until like the first quarter of next year, the first half of
Yeah,
next year. So I mean, we know the work is still being done. CGI is definitely going to be improved, and overall, like my expectations were met. I think it was pretty good. I think what we got was pretty nice, and really
yeah.
looking forward to it.
It was tough being a DC fan the past few years, but now it's like with everything they dropped with Justice League and some of the other stuff they got to show us, like Suicide Squad was another thing that I was really excited to see, where they showed a lot of behind the scenes footage, and then just everything they shared just kind of renewed my enthusiasm for the universe, and I'm excited.
cool. Yeah, I think we can just jump into Suicide Squad next.
Yeah.
It's kind of what I want to talk about too. Um, Personally, for me, I didn't have any expectations for Suicide Squad. Like, I didn't expect to see anything, maybe concept art and just kind of get a final list of, what characters are involved. It was really cool because since I didn't have any expectations, I was really blown away. Like seeing that much behind the scenes footage, and I love like the different kind of war movies, and especially like those Vietnam War movies were always cool when I watched them growing up. So this, when watching all that stuff, it was really cool to see how they're playing like my favorite characters into a genre that's like that. Not to mention Harley Quinn looked awesome. I had no idea what John Cena was gonna play, and so that was kind of like fun and goofy to look at.
Well, I think that's
Um,
another cool thing about it, that is that James Gunn, like he's an awesome director. Like his what was it? Shit, I can't remember the name of the movie, but
are you talking about that dark Superman thing?
no, that's Brightburn. But the one he did before that with Dwight from The Office, that was a really
Oh,
good
Super
movie.
8.
Or no, I
I
think it
think
was
it
just called
was.
Super.
Oh yeah, Super.
But
Super 8
that
is a whole different thing.
he's done a really good job with like those type of movies overall. Movies that didn't involve like heavy CGI back then. Like it was all like practical, like real life stuff. And then he did Brightburn. Brightburn was amazing. So it reminded me
Hmm.
of like the Crime Syndicates, the Superman,
Yeah.
Ultraman. Like kind of like the similar origins of like Clark Kent, but just evil. And then obviously he did Guardians of the Galaxy movies, which were pretty good. And the thing I really appreciate and like about James Gunn is that he had the opportunity to do any DC character, any DC property, but he chose to go with characters that are not that well known. Like yeah, like you
Hmm.
might know Ratcatcher and like a couple of these other like names,
Polka
but
Dot Man.
yeah, but majority of the cast, majority of the characters, like no one really knows them. And now like you'll come to like know them because of
Hmm.
James Gunn. And that's another cool thing about, the DC and like Marvel universe, that there's so many characters out there that aren't really focused on until like now. Like
Yeah.
now, like like the Guardians of the Galaxy, like they weren't that big, but James Gunn brought them onto the big screen, and like everyone, like pretty much everyone knows them. And it's
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
was
the same
gonna
thing
say
with
the
the Suicide
exact
Squad.
same. Yeah, I was gonna say the exact same thing. Like I was also a Marvel fan growing up. I did not care for the Guardians of the Galaxy when I found out that they were going to be in a movie. I was like, okay, cool. It's something cool to see, but the whole take was Marvel is going, like the Marvel universe is going to space. But he did an awesome job. So I think as a director, he has a like an amazing quality of just shining the light on characters that no one knows about or may seem like, fun on a comic page, but kind of you don't have a vision of them on the big screen.
Yeah,
I
like
feel-
Brown Clown Down and I were watching we were watching the Suicide Squad panel together when during the fandom when it came out. And like I wasn't really expecting like a full on trailer because I know that they were still like editing and working from home, like trying to like put together whatever they could.
Hmm.
But the fact that they showed us like clips within like behind the scenes stuff was like pretty amazing. Like, you got to see a bit of King Shark, you got to see like basically the entire team, I think. And just seeing like behind the scenes stuff was pretty dope. Like seeing how they were filming it, what was happening in those scenes, and like all the action packed stuff, I I don't know, because of not knowing about these characters too much, I didn't know what to expect. But then when I got it, I wasn't just like wow. I was like really blown away, and I'm like, holy shit, this thing is really cool. Well, what do you
yeah,
what do you think, Brown?
it was really nice to see them finally take the squad and give us what we thought we were gonna get with the the
Air
other
version of the movie.
quote unquote air cut,
Yeah.
release the air cut. But it was like the Suicide Squad doesn't really save the world and do stuff like that. And so when you got to see them kind of just fighting, and it seemed like they were doing like covert like black ops missions that
Hmm.
where maybe their cover was blown, and that's why they had to full on like actually start fighting.
Well, yeah,
And
that's exactly what the Suicide Squad is. They do stuff. They do like Black Ops stuff that you
yeah,
wouldn't necessarily have a superhero do, because if stuff goes bad, you can just literally blame them. So
yeah.
it's really
Yeah.
So
cool to see
those
that.
aspects, yeah, they were really nice to see. And some of the heroes, I feel like, since they expanded so much, I feel like you're gonna see some heroes be like compromised, or like they might just die or
Oh, I
something.
think, yeah, I
Oh
think
yeah.
definitely like in like the first half, not even the first half, like in the first few minutes of the movie, they might introduce you to like a team that's just gonna die right away, and then there's gonna be another like some of the cast that's already been announced, and like their characters are gonna replace whatever team dies right away. Because I feel like they're
Yeah.
kind of gonna show that in the Suicide Squad these characters do die. So I feel like they're gonna kill off some people right in the beginning, just like how they killed Slipknot in the first
Yeah, I was
Suicide
just
Squad.
about to say that.
So I feel like they're
Mhm.
gonna pull more stuff like that to show that, oh, like we don't mess around. Like if you try doing something funny, then like we will like execute you, and that's what they're gonna do. And then they're gonna get replaced by a newer Suicide Squad, which is like who will like actually get to see throughout the movie.
Oh yeah, Viola Davis is Amanda Waller is badass as hell, and she's
Badass.
not gonna quit on just
Yeah,
popping someone's head.
yeah.
Mhm.
And yeah, release a haircut. I'm really behind that because I think the movie we got
Agreed.
definitely wasn't from what
Yeah,
I've
because
heard.
the Joker came off as this like desperate emo high school teenager, and like I don't know if that's who the Joker's supposed to be.
Yeah, not to mention like a lot of the marketing for the Air version of like 2016 Suicide Squad was you saw Joker in every single marketing piece that was out there. And then when you get the
Yeah,
movie, you probably have him for 10 minutes. And so that was a big letdown. I think we saw that movie like twice within the same week or something like that, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we saw it multiple times. Yeah,
yeah,
I was surprised there was no like air cut announcement during DC Fandom,
yeah.
and there was none. Yeah, there was nothing about that. But I think something might be in the works. I think we're gonna get something about that. So
Yeah, Jared Leto was so upset, and he said almost what like 90% of the scenes that he shot as the Joker were cut. So it's like they and what we got, with the whole
Enchantress.
Snyder Enchantress
Oh.
thing and Snyder leaving the universe, and that added a lot of the story. I feel like too, to kind of maintain their version of that universe or their vision at that point. So I don't think what we got was true to the overall vision that they started out with,
Hmm.
and I think
Agreed.
they modified it a lot.
yeah,
So
I mean, David Ayer was given only 2 weeks to rewrite his original script, and then
yeah,
I think like do some reshoots and stuff. So I think we'll get his version. We're getting a Snyder cut. We'll get the air cut, and we'll get to
Mhm.
see how that is. And
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to directly like tie into James Gunn's Suicide Squad, but I mean, at the end of the day, like if we get the air cut, that'll be amazing, and then we'll get James Gunn's Suicide Squad, which already looks pretty good so far without even like a full trailer.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see
I
how
mean, for
how
sure
that
they're
turns out.
connected. Margot
I
Robbie,
mean, yeah,
Harley
they got
Quinn
the.
is our connector. Not to mention Rick Flag as Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're not connected, but I'm saying like story wise, it's not
Oh,
like
story
the
wise,
first
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Suicide
We
for
might
Squad
need
sure.
eventually
a we
directing to
might
the
need a
second one.
flashpoint or something.
All right, cool. We can dive right into Flash then.
Yeah.
So
Multiverse. The whole concept of multiverse, I feel like, is going to play a big role in rewriting the. Not, I don't know if rewriting is the right word, but like kind of amending everything that they did and kind of trying to patch up as much as they can, and then yeah, just
it
use them.
create a world that I guess that's what you're trying to say, right? Like create a world where stuff is less confusing.
Yeah, it's like you can't have like a story in like part one of an arc like
Hmm.
BVS, and then when you have Justice League, you completely ignore what happened in BVS, and then same thing like when you have like the Suicide Squad. I
Hmm.
don't think they'll ignore what happened beforehand. They might just
In
try to use the multiverse
2016.
approach to
Oh
try
yeah,
to.
oh yeah. Like stuff is happening and all that. Like it's not ignored. I think you put it right. I'm not even gonna try.
Yeah, yeah, and then what the director of what's his name, Muschietti,
Andy,
And
Andy.
Andy Machete,
yeah,
believe
Yeah,
just
so.
call him Andy.
he,
Sorry if we're butchering that.
yeah. He also said that his movie's what, like a Flashpoint movie, kind
Oh
of.
yeah, oh
It's
yeah, for
a
sure.
it's not like a full adaptation of Flashpoint, but yeah, it is going to take elements from it. So what's pretty amazing is that they're doing like Ezra. He's obviously going to have a new suit, which they showed concept art of, and I think it looks pretty cool. We haven't seen like anything like super concrete yet, but from the concept art, it looks pretty cool. And they're going to have Michael Keaton in it. It was announced that Ben Affleck is going to be back as Batman in it, and I
Hmm.
think Ray Fisher is also supposed to be in it. And then recently, I think the team working on the Flash, they said that you're going to see multiple DC characters in it. So
Yeah,
I know
buddy.
they're not 100% taking the Flashpoint approach where I don't know if they're going to have Atlantis versus the Amazons in there, or I don't know if Deathstroke's going to be in there and all
Themyscira,
that
yeah.
stuff. But if they're saying there's going to be multiple like DC characters in there, that's still pretty interesting to see because you already have two Batmen, and then we don't know if like Jeffrey Dean Morgan is going to suit up to come back or to come as Thomas Wayne as Batman,
That
which I'm
I
Yeah,
hoping
really
it
wish,
like does
yeah,
happen. Yeah,
yeah, I
because
really wish that
everyone wants to
happens.
see that.
that animated movie was so awesome, man. I watched
Oh
that
yeah,
like
Yeah,
once a month.
even if Jeffrey Dean Morgan is in there for a few minutes, you get a glimpse of him in the bat suit. I think that would be the most amazing thing ever because everyone has always wanted, him to come back after
yeah.
Watchmen, and he
Concept
did.
art of him as Earth 2 or whatever Earth Batman has been out ever since he played the role of Thomas Wayne. So it'll be so fulfilling to get that. Not to mention the dude's so badass, right? Like Jeffrey Dean Morgan, just him alone is so badass to just
Yeah, I
see
mean
him in other stuff.
Zack Snyder, he kind of like reused some of his cast from Watchmen. Like
Hmm.
Doctor Manhattan is Barry's dad.
Hmm.
Bruce Wayne's dad is
The comedian.
yeah, the comedian, and Patrick Wilson before he got the role for Orm and Aquaman, he
He
was
was
the
Owlman.
president. Yeah, he was the
The voice
president
of the
on the phone,
president,
and
right? Yeah.
yeah, he was voicing the president in Batman vs Superman, and he was Owlman in
Oh,
Watchmen.
true.
So
Yeah.
like Zack Snyder, like he's using these characters, and like I'm pretty sure like overall they might have had a plan to have Jeffrey Dean Morgan like come back like for like a Flashpoint Batman, which would be pretty awesome if they do it. And the idea of like Flash creating the multiverse, like Zad and I were talking about this yesterday too, how like it was what like Flash 123 that introduced a multiverse, and I think Jim Lee
Hmm.
talked about this recently too, that it was like Flash 123 that introduced a multiverse where Barry Allen meets Jay Garrick, and
Uh huh.
and then that's when the entire idea of multiverse was introduced. And since they already did it in the CW show, and they had
Yeah.
a Barry meet Barry. They had Ezra meet Grant Gustin. That was pretty awesome. So that was just them showing us and telling us that, hey, the multiverse already exists. And seeing that, I don't know how much of that of the CW stuff we're gonna get in the Flashpoint movie, but just like the idea of like now knowing that they're actually doing it, and the multiverse idea exists, and Zack Snyder's movies, they exist in their own like Elseworld, and Flash exists in that same world, but we don't know like what
What if
more.
um
Yeah.
what if when, you remember in that trailer, the Justice League trailer, when Flash is running through the Speed Force? What
Uh-huh.
if what if they just show, because of what happened in the CW show, some form of like a hint or something of Ezra Miller's Flash? Just in the background or something. It could be something really, really subtle.
Just how they show it on the Flash TV show, like as he's running through the timeline, through
I
the
don't think they
Speed
would.
Forest. Yeah, I don't think so, but it would be cool.
I mean,
I
that's
don't
not going to
think
be in
so,
Justice League.
but yeah,
That's definitely not going to be in
yeah,
Justice League. That's going to be part of Flash, the Flash movie, if
Mm,
anything.
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's going to be our and like Ezra's and that Barry's first ever like interaction, and first ever just like introduction to the Speed Force, because Ezra's Barry hasn't done that yet. Since
Yeah.
Bruce has just like brought him onto the team, and none of like even like the people like watching the movies, like none of us have seen the Speed Force on the big screen yet. And so this is going to be the first time that we're all going to be introduced to it. And
Hmm.
like Flash, like we know he's supposed to go back in
Well,
time.
technically, we have seen the Speed Force in action when he pops out of when he pops into the
Oh yeah, that is true.
Batcave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but we
so
have.
that's what I was
I know
getting
what
to.
you. I
Like
know
he's
what you
supposed to
meant.
go
I know
back.
what you meant. I didn't mean to shoot you down, but I
No,
know
no, no,
what you
no.
meant.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right. Like we have seen that, but now we'll see
We'll
like
see him
what?
traveling
Yeah,
through it.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd be so cool, man. I can't wait. And
So
not to
what do you guys
mention,
think about Keaton and Ben
oh
Affleck?
yeah, that's
Dude,
exactly what I was
when they
gonna
said
say.
Keaton was gonna be in the movie, I didn't see. I don't know if that was concept art or I think it was, but
It
then him
was.
suited up was just that kind of was surprising for me. I didn't think he would be suited up as Batman. Batman. I thought it would be like a kind of like a moment where Bruce Wayne would mentor him, but it looks like he's gonna fight as Batman with him.
I would. I know the guy's old, but that was my first
I
Batman
feel
movie
like
that I watched.
I feel like
So
he still looks just as old or young as he did when he made that Batman movie. So
yeah,
I
you
think
could
we'll
say
be
that.
fine.
Yeah, you could say that. But I don't know, man. I love Michael Keaton's Batman movies. He only had two, but I love them absolutely. That was my first interaction with it. I know Bale has his place, and Affleck is honestly, I would have to say Affleck is my second favorite, just because Keaton was my first introduction to the live action role. So I'm super excited about that. But seeing Ben Affleck come back, I think it's going to be really cool too, because Ben Affleck was the one to bring. Well, Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne was the one to bring, Ezra Miller, Barry Allen over to the Justice League team. He was his recruiter, and so it'll be really cool to just kind of see that relationship develop further. How he helps him, and obviously Bruce Wayne's a genius, right? And so it's just really cool to see how he's gonna help him use his abilities in a more effective way to help the world and Central City and whatever else we might see in the movie.
Yeah, and like the great thing about this podcast is that as the episodes go on, we can like during the next podcast we can talk about like what we think might actually happen
Oh yeah.
in the Flash movie, because I had something written out, and that's something we can talk about next time around.
Okay.
And
Cool.
yeah, and I like how you're saying that Michael Keaton was your first introduction to Batman. That's why he's your number one. He was also my first introduction to Batman, but Ben Affleck is still my number one Batman, because
Yeah.
I feel like it was so true, and so like he's just looks very comic book,
Badass.
yeah, Batman, Bruce Wayne, all around everything. So yeah, Ben Affleck's
He
he's
has the
definitely up there
height,
for
the
me.
build, and everything. Like, dude,
Yeah. It's yep. Yep.
seeing him in the suit, and even seeing him as Bruce Wayne, like some, like when you would see when he first, I think not the first. That's I think the second time he meets Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, and he tries to confront her about she takes his flash drive in Batman versus Superman. Just those scenes as him, like as Bruce Wayne,
Uh-huh.
just. that was the best.
Very fulfilling. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
that was. I feel like that was the most accurate too, and like he looked just like the animated series, like you know Batman and Bruce Wayne,
Yep.
like just
No
the build.
arguments there. I'm just saying.
Hmm.
No arguments there. Okay. Are we cool to get off the Flash unless you guys had something else?
Um, no, I don't know. I think the idea is just really interesting of Flashpoint in the
I,
multiverse. So, and we don't know too much about it right now. So yeah, we can
all
end it
right.
with that, and then move on to
Black
what else?
Adam.
Black Adam. Yeah. So that was a little underwhelming for me during DC Fandom. I don't know what you guys thought about it, but
I thought at least by now they would have, even if they were gonna change it or whatever, have like a costume or something. Have
yeah,
him in a
like an actual
Yeah.
costume.
costume, not like
Yeah,
a fan art, concept art, or not fan art. Yeah, I meant like concept art or you know,
Well, they had
uh,
concept art, but
no, they
I know
had
what you guys
concept
are
art,
trying to
but
say. Like,
yeah,
have him suited up, have him physically suited up.
yeah, throw him in a green screen room and just have him suited up. Throw a cool background on it and just have him say like a few lines. I was a little underwhelmed because it's been like 6 years, more than six
Yeah, I think
years
it was like
since
2014, 15.
yeah, since he was announced as Black Adam with a bunch of other movies and cast members that were announced for like different movies. But around that same time, he was announced as Black Adam, and for me, that was like a really big thing because when I was reading not Crime Syndicate, was it Crime Syndicate? I think it was Crime Syndicate. When the Justice League was basically taken out, and Black Adam had teamed up with Lex Luthor and a couple others to fight
You
the
talking about
Crime
for the
Syndicate.
Forever Evil New
Yeah,
52 stuff? Okay.
yeah, the New 52 run. And seeing Black Adam in there and then seeing, the Rocket announced for that role, I was like, dude, this is gonna be so amazing. Like he was made for this role. Like he has the built, the height, the look, he has everything. Like he has everything going for him to like fit this role. And I was so excited. And as time went on, like I get it, he's a busy guy, he has like 13 movies a year that he works on. I don't know how many he does, but by now, I really, really thought that they would have had an actual like costume. They would have had a bit more cast members. Maybe they only announced Atom Smasher, and then The Rock himself, and then they showed concept art of Doctor Fate. Um, I think it was Tornado, Red Tornado,
I don't remember.
Hawkman, and
Hmm.
then I think one or two other characters, but it was kind of like a letdown to not hear any names behind those roles, and
Yeah.
not to see like an actual costume, and it was just like an animated voiceover that they did, which was pretty awesome. Like Boss
Well,
Logic and Jim Lee collaborated on that, which was
oh
which
yeah,
was really good. But
I love the fact that Boss Logic is getting that exposure over on the DC side of it too,
yeah,
which
that's
is
awesome.
really cool. But just for argument's sake, and just to kind of give them the benefit of the doubt, I think the only reason we didn't get like a green screen him in the actual suit, even though I was just saying that, I just thought of it, is probably because of COVID. Like they just couldn't get it
Yeah, but he
together
was
in time
standing
or
in
something along. I
but he was
know, I
standing in a
know,
green screen room while
I
like,
th- I think
talking
I
also
know.
I think also this whole time maybe he knew what was happening behind the scenes with Zack Snyder and the studio and
Right,
everything,
yeah,
so
yeah.
he wanted to
I was
make
gonna bring that
sure.
up.
Yeah, he wanted to make sure that all those bumps in the road were, that he didn't have to deal with that probably when his movie was announced. He wanted it to be perfect, and he probably knew that Zack Snyder was going to be back, and Ben
Yeah, I
Affleck
mean, I
and
think his
everyone.
manager, Danny Garcia, his agent or manager, like she also works with Dwayne Johnson himself and Henry Cavill. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, they were in the loop about what was happening with the Snyder Cut and stuff. And yeah, I think you're right that maybe like they were holding
Hmm.
back on like moving forward with all this stuff until like they figured out what was going on with Zack Snyder and his movie and what was going to happen with Henry Cavill. Because I think that I mean, at the end of DC Fandom or at the end of the Black Adam panel, The Rock did call out, Zack Snyder's Justice League. He called him out,
Yeah.
I think, by name or by the character's name and stuff, and he was basically saying, "Oh, there's a new like hierarchy,
Hmm.
and that he's going to be like the top dog." So I think you're right. I think that the reason they might have not like showed too much yet or like not announced much yet is because they were waiting for like the Snyder Cut stuff to be
Kind
solidified
of
and
take
like
its
yeah
direction, and then they'll kind of work within that. That's okay. So that's cool with that idea in mind. I guess I'm okay with it. But I agree, it was a little underwhelming, mainly because we waited so long.
Yeah, we
But I'm
waited
still
so long and
excited.
didn't even get a proper like costume. That's I think that's my thing. I think we should have at least seen him like in a costume, just like standing there. They didn't have to tell us like like anything else more than what we already got. But just seeing him like in a costume, like a green screen room, would have been pretty cool.
I know you. Every time I say how excited I was about the like getting a confirmation about Doctor Fate, you always tell me that you were telling me about that rumor again and again and again. But I was just super excited. Doctor Fate is one of my favorite characters out of DC, and so it's going to be really
Yeah.
cool to see him on the big screen and kind of show off his powers. And
Him in
I
the
mean, it's
animated
going to be
series
really
was
cool.
so awesome. I think it was Justice League of
Justice League,
America.
yeah,
Justice League Unlimited, and
Unlimited,
then
yeah.
he was
Unlimited,
also
yeah.
over in Young Justice. So it's just really
Mhm.
cool to be able to see him in a big picture now. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I remember I told you about Hawkman, Doctor
Yeah.
Fate, and all these guys. That's another cool thing about being friends with the Culture Nerd and Lightcast. They feed you with some good information.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, I was really excited when they did announce Doctor Fate. It was really awesome because, like, I remember Brown Clown Down. Him and his brother would always say they wanted what's his Benedict Cumberbatch
Benedict
for Doctor
Cumberbatch.
Fate, and then he got
Oh,
casted as Doctor Strange. So
which is still
Doctor
perfect.
Fate was our favorite character, man.
yeah, and then
And
he got casted as Doctor Strange, which was it was good, but it would have been so amazing to have him as Doctor Fate.
yeah, I mean, he still did like an awesome job, obviously, as Doctor
Oh,
Strange.
amazing
And
job. He's
yeah,
still doing it. But I don't know. I think I just got to think about who I would want if we talk fan casting. But I guess we'll get there. We'll get there as more stuff comes out about that. Um,
yeah,
Batman.
Wait, before we
yeah.
move on to the Batman,
Okay.
so we know that Black Adam is going to be taking place like decades before like any of the DC
Centuries.
movies. Yeah,
Centuries.
maybe
Yeah,
even centuries. Yeah,
because
before.
I
No,
think he
I
gets
don't.
released when the Wizard dies, right? When the Shazam Wizard.
No,
I
not
can't remember.
no, not when the wizard dies. The wizard
Because
like makes him into a
something.
champion, and then like he basically kind of goes like corrupt. So he starts doing his own thing, and then I think that Justice Society of America, like Doctor Fate, Hawkman, and all these guys, they fight him, and they'll probably take him down. He'll probably be locked up or something somewhere, and then uh, he'll come back, during modern time. And
Yeah.
so my question was, when
Hmm.
he comes back during modern time, like how cool would it be? Like, wouldn't you guys want to see him go up against Henry Cavill Superman? Like, I
Oh
don't,
yeah,
I
in
don't
like in that
really,
one animated
yeah,
movie
with
that they
him,
Oh
had.
yeah.
Shazam,
See,
Superman.
when they had Superman at the end of Shazam,
Shazam.
I was so excited because I'm like, okay, moving forward, they're definitely gonna have kind of that relationship where I
Billy
want them to, yeah,
Batson
Billy
gets
Batson's gonna,
tutored and kind of
yeah, he
mentored.
mentored by Superman and how to handle this immense, like, power for him out of nowhere. Clark had to like deal with that growing up. So I want to see that dynamic, somewhere down the line between those two guys, and then him, basically kind of trying to make friends while also being, a part-time superhero.
Yeah.
So, so it's like that would be so cool to see, and it was so nice to see in that like that 45-minute animated movie. What was it,
That's
Shazam
a
versus
yeah,
Black
that's almost
Adam?
a decade old, I think now, right? But still,
Yeah, it was part of like an
it would be really
anthology
fun.
thing that they did, and it was really cool to see.
Yeah. So I don't know if they have a date for Black Adam. Is that coming after Shazam or before? I think it's coming before Shazam, right? Shazam 2. Let me check that real quick.
Sorry,
But
what?
I can't remember. I was asking, when does Black Adam come out?
I don't
Does
know.
it come out before Shazam or after?
So what I've been hearing is that they're gonna start filming in the first half of next year. So, and I think Shazam they were gonna start filming sometime soon too because the kids are growing up really fast. So they want to
Oh
start
yeah.
filming soon. So I think we might. Yeah, I don't know how the release date might work, but I think we're gonna get Shazam first, and then maybe Black Adam. I don't know, man.
I
Black
Yeah,
Adam's
I
been
think
I
like
they
almost
six
said
want to
the
years.
end of
argue. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
2021. Yeah, I think they were saying at the end of 2021, but obviously, with the pandemic and everything, it's gonna be pushed.
What, the release of?
Shazam? Is that what you're talking about?
Black Adam, Black Adam.
Oh, Black
Oh no,
Adam.
there's no way because they're starting to film next year, so not gonna happen. They're not gonna release it at the end of
Oh,
2021.
okay.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah,
original, I
I don't.
think. One.
Oh yeah, the original. Yeah, that might have been the original date. But yeah, no,
Mhm.
I personally don't know like what the release schedule for both of those movies are. But I think Black Adam might be more in line with whatever Zack Snyder's movies might be doing versus whatever the Shazam movies might be doing right now. Because I think Dwayne is trying to get Henry Cavill back as Superman also.
Just so they can duke it out.
Yeah, probably.
Which I have no problem with.
I'd love to see that though. That
Oh
The
hell
Rock
yeah.
has Henry Cavill's back and he wants to fight him.
Yeah. How
Because I
nice
mean,
of him.
remember when he got casted, he was teasing like, "Oh, basically I'm gonna play somebody that can go toe to toe with Superman." And
Hmm.
Black Adam was one of those characters, or Shazam, or Shazam would have been weird, but Black Adam is nice.
Definitely. Oh
Could
yeah,
you imagine
definitely. I
Billy
mean that.
Batson turning into the Rock if he watches?
But no,
Yeah,
I know what you're saying. So
yeah.
it's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be really cool to see that fight go down.
I think I hope that once he gets his own movie, because in his own movie, like we're in the first Black Adam movie, we're not going to get Shazam, obviously.
Mhm.
It's going to end with I guess the Justice Society of America defeating him, or the Justice League of America defeating him,
And
and
I feel like
then him getting.
he has to meet the wizard, right? And then at the end of the movie, they could tease
I think he'll
him.
just get like imprisoned somewhere or something. Like
Yeah,
he'll
and
get like
then Dr.
by
Savannah will
Doctor Fate
probably.
probably.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
he'll probably get imprisoned by Dr. Fate at the end of his movie. And then Shazam 3, because I'm pretty sure he's not the villain in Shazam 2.
no, he's not the villain in Shazam 2.
And
I
so
think he'll be
Shazam
teased by the
3,
end of Shazam 2.
yeah, like Dr. Savannah, because he starts to just learn more about the mystical realm, he's probably going to be the one who releases Black Adam. So that's how he'll enter the modern era.
Yeah, either through
Ooh.
Doctor Savannah or maybe like I don't know what Shazam 2 is really going to be about or who the villain is or any of that stuff.
It's that
Or
caterpillar thing.
yeah, yeah,
I don't know. I'm
it's your
just kidding.
mind, I think.
Yeah, I don't
No,
know.
I know you're right. You're right. It's weird. It's a weird concept, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe the events of Shazam 2 are gonna lead to it ending with Black Adam being set free, and then I think after that we might get like a Superman Black Adam movie, and then
Hmm.
it'll be like Shazam 3 with, or the Superman Black Adam movie might have Shazam in it, and
Yeah,
then there might be no Shazam 3. It could just be like Superman Black Adam and Shazam, or just
like it'll
Superman
just
and
be a
Black
Black
Adam.
Adam
Yeah,
sequel that has both of
yeah,
them. Which
with everybody.
just a side note, I really like the fact that's how they're carrying their movies. That how freely these characters just pop in each other's movies. I really love that fact about just like the movies that we get now in general with the superheroes.
Yeah,
Marvel did
Yeah.
it. DC's doing it. It's very fun.
I mean,
It just
yeah,
adds more to the factor of when you go watch a superhero movie, you're probably going because you like that one superhero, but just to see a bonus in there or a couple bonuses for
yeah, like with the
Flashpoint's sake.
Flash having multiple DC characters in. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't just want to see Black Adam go up against Superman or Superman and Shazam. I kind of want to see Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa. I want to see their Wonder Woman, their Aquaman, like stand like kind of like toe to toe with Black Adam. I want to see that
Yeah.
animosity, that like heat. I want to see that
I
between all
don't
these
think it's gonna be
characters.
much of standing out. I think it's gonna be more of them getting their ass whooped.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I'm here
probably. I
for it.
don't know. They're all
I'm here
gods in
for
their
it.
own ways. So
Oh,
let's see.
true, but still.
Um, and yeah, I mean, I think that was all Black Adam. I wish we got a costume reveal, but it is what it is. Um, from DC fandom, I don't wanna talk too much about Wonder Woman because that is a movie we are getting. I know it got delayed again.
Hmm.
That's a movie we are getting. We got a bunch of trailers for it already, so there's a lot of hype behind that. Cheetah looks awesome. Wonder Woman itself looks awesome.
Absolutely.
I know
Yeah.
there's a very young actress playing Wonder Woman. Yeah, Diana Prince
Yeah,
when
yeah,
she was
Diana.
young, and just her acting in that small clip that they showed in the trailer just seem phenomenal. So I can't wait to see, young Diana, and then like the movie overall. Like it's gonna be pretty cool. So I don't want to talk too much about that because there's already like so much
Okay,
stuff out there about
okay.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, I agree. It's more developed.
I'm
It's
really hyped
less of
about it.
what we enjoy talking about.
Yeah, I'm really hyped about it. So, and I don't want
Yeah,
to I don't want to get too deep into it because like I don't know. And I don't know if it's gonna get spoilery or what's gonna happen since
fair
we don't
enough.
know who's watching what trailers.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Because I don't think we've actually sat down and like dissected that one how we usually do with trailers.
I kind of
Um,
don't want to because it seems really like with
the
Steve Trevor
concept is
coming
really
back. Yeah, the
interesting
concept looks really cool.
with yeah Steve Trevor back with Cheetah and the
Yeah,
whole mystical piece that they're playing with. What's the actor's name?
Pedro Pascal,
Pedro
like
Pascal. So it's
yeah, they have
really
such a
cool to
great
see all
cast.
that. Okay,
Yeah,
fair. We won't do that whole theorized piece for that.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
then so the big bat.
The last piece is the big Batman thing,
Yep.
which I did not expect. I
A
didn't
full
I didn't even
trailer.
expect a teaser because I think we got that leading
They
up. I just
said
expected more concept art
they
and
said
stuff.
only 25% of it has been filmed, and then we got. Yeah, I did not expect
When we
the
got
the
like a
teaser trailer we got.
2 minute some odd trailer, which is so cool.
Yeah, I think we got a decent amount of footage for a movie that was only
I
25% done.
think yeah, the trailer was also like zero CGI, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
pretty
so.
sure.
So what I honestly like, yeah, we knew that they said they were gonna come with some, like Matt Reeves said that he was gonna come with something for DC Fandom. What I honestly
Yeah.
expected was like a 30 to 40-second teaser of maybe like I don't know the Batman like talking to someone and then jumping off a rooftop and just like some cool like Batman scenes that everybody would
Okay,
love, But when
Yeah.
they showed up with a like a two minute some like trailer, it was like holy shit. And
and you
then the
got to
trailer
see a
itself,
lot in that,
yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
I didn't realize legit for like 2 days. I didn't realize that was Colin Farrell playing Penguin. Not because I wasn't paying attention to that. I was too hyped about the fact that we got to see Robert Pattinson just playing it out, and then how the trailer was playing out.
So yeah,
And then I come
I
to the
didn't know.
realization, and it added to my excitement.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that was Colin Farrell either until Brown Clown Down's brother Sonny, like he pointed out that's Colin Farrell. I was like, how? I was like, why would you think that's Colin Farrell? Because he came into my house that same night after the trailer dropped, and he was like,
Mhm.
no, that's him. And I was like, how do you know that's him? He was like, look at the eyes. I was like, how?
Yeah.
He
And
is a
he's
big
he's
Colin Farrell
yeah,
fan,
he's a
so
big Colin Farrell fan, so he knew. Like he didn't read anything online because he was coming from somewhere. He was busy, and he came to my house from like somewhere else, and he wasn't keeping up with the Fandom event or anything. And as soon as he saw the trailer, he was like, "Dude, that's Colin Farrell," and I'm like, "Nah, that can't be him." And then like a day
A
later,
lot of
like
prosthetics.
everybody was like, "That's him. That's Colin Farrell," and I was like, "Holy shit,
mhm.
That'd be so funny if it's not him.
that would be hilarious." uh, yeah, what were you guys' favorite parts throughout the trailer? I know the trailer had a bunch of things in it, like hidden
I
Easter
just
eggs.
I love the the classic Gordon Batman relationship,
Mhm.
in its early stages, or and just seeing Batman at the crime scene, and I don't know if everybody else is comfortable around, him being there, and just seeing that whole dynamic in its early stages is pretty cool. I'm
Yeah,
mainly
absolutely.
excited for that.
I just yeah, it's that whole animated series approach, which kind of takes you to the beginning of their journey. He's figuring him out if he can be a trusted person. Um, it's really cool, and it almost looked like he was protecting him. You know, when they show that one snippet where he's about to get into a fight with another officer or something like that. Gordon pushes him back and kind of just like, all right, calm down or whatever. He's the only one that's on his side there. So it's really cool seeing that whole relationship develop. My favorite piece out of it was him being brought onto that crime scene and him just kind of looking through it. Gordon kind of giving him that card and going, is this for you, or however that line went, and then beating the living crap out that other dude, which I love a violent Batman. That's one of my favorite things about the Affleck Batman.
Yeah, no, Batman's never violent, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, true. Bale Batman, right?
Yeah.
No,
Um,
but I feel like what they showed though was just an early Batman who's just frustrated and
Hmm.
tired of everything because like
I
Bill's
think that's
Batman
why
kind of
that beating took place. I think
yeah.
that's why like he just went crazy and he
Oh,
beat the crap out of
probably.
that
Oh,
guy
definitely.
because he was like pretty. I think he was like overwhelmed or pretty like upset about something that might have happened prior, and he just like he didn't want to deal with the crap that was about to happen, so he just beat the crap out of that dude.
And he doesn't. I feel like like they show even early on in Bale's Batman some of that inexperience when he's still learning and how to approach things. And
Oh yeah, they showed that in Dark Knight when he gets bit by dogs, and Alfred is making fun of him. He's like, "Oh, it was a big dog." So yeah, no, definitely, I know what you guys are pointing out there.
Yeah.
yeah, and
As for like Gordon's like relationship with Batman, I think because Matt Reeves did say that this is Batman in his second year,
Hmm.
so I don't expect like Gordon to just like trust him right off the back. So in the beginning of the trailer, when you see him walking down
right
the
off the
hall,
bat.
yeah. So like all when in the beginning of the trailer when he's walking down the hall at that crime scene, like all the FBI men like they're just staring at him. Gordon doesn't seem like he's too happy to see him, but he's he is like dealing with him. So I think Gordon knows that like we need him. Like we need Batman. Like
Yeah.
he can help us in ways that Gotham City
Uh,
probably can't. Like help in.
yeah, I'm also
So
excited to see that aspect of it. How Gordon, because Gordon from the TV show as well, Gotham. He's just trying to separate himself from the corrupt cops and his partner. I keep forgetting I forget his name.
Harvey.
Harvey.
Harvey. Yeah, he kind of tells Gordon, whenever they do something shady, like, yeah, that's just how it is. But yeah,
Yeah,
Harvey Bullock or whatever.
Harvey
Yeah.
And
Bullock.
then I think that's what he's gonna struggle with too. Like Gordon's gonna be new, and is gonna try to stay true to his own principles and his own code.
Hmm.
And I feel like he'll be like, you know what? If I have to give in, why not give in to trusting a vigilante who believes the same thing that I believe, without kind of like that liability of breaking the law on
Yeah.
Yeah,
him. Yeah,
that's perfectly put. I couldn't agree more. That's perfectly put there.
Yeah. And
Um, Go ahead.
I think what we didn't touch upon is that we might see the Court of Owls in
yeah.
Batman
For the first time in
for the first
live
time.
action, yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
the new 52 Court of Owls arc was so awesome. Like when he delves into like his own family's history, and I feel like that's part of the reason that's going to play a lot into his anger and all that initially when he starts out. He's trying
Yeah,
to get
with
rid of
his
the
family,
corruption.
yeah, his family, Dick Grayson's family, they're like
Hmm.
Court of Owls, like it's a
It
really
runs
good like
deep.
story arc on its
Yeah.
own, yeah.
Now I
So
wonder if in the movie when they show Selena Kyle, I don't know where they're at or where they're gonna be. What if he uses her help to try to take down the Court of Owls and Riddler? So
yeah, or it could be that either the Court of Owls are manipulating the Riddler, or the Riddler like thinks that Batman is in bed with the Court
Is
of
in yeah.
Owls,
I was just gonna say that.
yeah. So it's going to be a really interesting take. I think with Matt Reeves working on this. Well, first of all, I gotta say like Robert Pattinson, people didn't like the casting because they only know him from Twilight. If you
Hmm.
watch him in
he's
other
such a
stuff,
good actor.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you watch him in his other like stuff, dude is like an Oscar worthy actor, like hands down for sure. Like just don't think of him like as the guy in Twilight. Watch his
Yeah.
other stuff, and then you'll see like why like he'll be a really great Batman. Going back to
I
Matt
like that
Reeves,
movie he did with Willem Dafoe,
Lighthouse. Yeah,
Lighthouse.
Lighthouse.
Yeah.
But no,
Lighthouse.
even prior to Lighthouse, like he's done some amazing work before.
Yeah, he did this
Um,
other movie that I just saw recently, Good Times, which I thought was it's a weird it's a very basic concept of a movie. I wouldn't call it weird, but it's just like you watch it and you look at that acting and you just go, you take a very normal concept and you make it very entertaining to watch, just because of the skill you bring to the table.
yeah.
Hmm.
And what I was gonna say is that I think we know the Riddler's gonna be the villain. Penguin's
Hmm.
gonna have like a role in it. I don't think he's gonna be in it for like a lot of like the entire movie, or he's not gonna be the main like villain.
And he's not gonna be like what established
Yeah, he's not gonna be fully
the
established in it either.
Cobblepot that
Yeah,
we
and
know.
and I know there's gonna be like a couple more villains in it, but the main villain is supposed to be the Riddler. And
Yeah.
I think when that reveal happens, like about who he is or what his motives are, or like or what the motives of the Court of Owls are, I think like it's not gonna be what anyone's gonna expect while watching the movie. I think like it's gonna have a really like surprising, really cool twist to it, where people are gonna be like, "Oh shit, like that's crazy! Like we did not see that coming." Like
Yeah.
yeah, like we're I think with Matt Reeves making this and like you have such a great team working on it. We're gonna like you can expect some like crazy stuff, crazy like surprises and twists to like go down in it,
And
which is like a really
hopefully
exciting
we're
part.
not preaching release the Reeves cut after it comes out. You know.
I
Yeah,
don't think we are
hopefully,
fine
I
with
don't
the
think we're gonna have that problem anymore.
yeah with AT&T
Hopefully.
taking over. I think we'll be fine. If we're
Yeah.
getting the Snyder cut, I think
I think
James
that's
Gunn himself he said it like he has full 100% creative freedom on his project, so I think we'll be fine with future DC movies.
yeah.
Hmm. Just the PTSD, and I'm a little bit scarred.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I
I've
feel
been
you.
hurt before.
um, but yeah,
What else?
that was my whole thing with the Batman. Um,
I like the kind of like the realistic approach to it, where he has his own car that's just a car. It's not like a futuristic type like
it's not a tank.
Batmobile. Yeah, it's not a tank. It's not. Yeah. No, I might get some hate for this, but I never liked Nolan's Batmobiles. They never,
They weren't
you know,
Batmobiles; they were tanks.
they weren't too appealing to me. Zack Snyder's Batmobile though. I'm not trying to be
Same
like
here.
biased, but his Batmobile was really awesome, really stealthy, really cool, really
And a
nice,
death machine.
and a death
Death
machine.
machine. But no,
Um,
you're right. It was a lot cooler. So, and not to mention, this thing looks like a basic car, and it's so cool. It has the flames in the back, so it has the pieces of a working Batmobile.
yeah,
So I'm sure as time goes on and
yeah. I
the
hope we get it in like an
character
actual
develops,
Batmobile.
we'll
Yeah,
probably get it. We'll get that.
hopefully.
I mean, but right now, if you just look at it, the approach is very New 52 for the Batman. That whole scene of him on a motorcycle driving around, riding around,
Yeah,
the
0 year.
backpack, the way
Yeah.
he is, it's that whole 0 year thing. So I think we just need to
Yeah,
look over at New 52 to get more cues as to, what we can expect from the
yeah,
movie.
Scott. I feel like it's gonna be very based on like Scott Snyder's interpretation of Batman and his.
Yeah, 0 year was also Riddler, like Riddler
Oh,
heavy,
yeah.
all that stuff. So that would be pretty
And
cool seeing all that.
it's so nice to finally see Riddler as more than a meme. Like you see what Jim Carrey. He's a great actor, but with his Riddler versus what we're getting now, it's like you're gonna get a more serious, finally, Edward Nigma or whatever his name is.
Yeah, you had it. Edward Nygma.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not what they're calling him in
yeah.
Reeves'
And
movie
in the
though.
movie, I
It's
think
a
that's what I was
it's
saying.
Edward something else. Forgetting his name, but yeah, they're not calling him Edward.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're not calling him Edward Nigma in Matt Reeves' version.
Oh, okay. Yeah, totally didn't know that.
Yeah, I think that's something really exciting to look forward to.
Here,
Um, I think that's pretty much it for like DC fandom, right? Like I know they had like a bunch of other like panels related to other stuff, but for like the big like movie related stuff, those were the big things that I think we were excited about. We were looking forward to,
Mhm.
and
yeah,
kind of like what we expect and didn't expect. But overall, like I think the event itself was really nice. I think it had more attendees than I think
Comic
virtual
Con.
Comic Con did.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it was a huge success, and I think HBO Max actually bought out or patent not patent. I don't know if I'm using the right terminology, but they basically reserved the fandom name, like HBO fandom, DC fandom,
All the
fandom itself.
possibilities.
Yeah, so they reserved all those. So I think in the future, like they do want to do this again, even like when things go back to normal, like they want to have virtual like fandom because everyone from around the world got to attend. It wasn't just exclusive to like whoever gets the ticket first shows up
Yeah.
to like San
yeah.
Diego
And I
and
feel
gets
like if
in.
you just show people, and by people I mean fans, people who are responsible for your success, that kind of appreciation, you're gonna get this kind of turnout. That's
Yeah, and it was like interactive, like fans got to
Mhm.
submit fan art, cosplay. They had a whole cosplay panel, so it was really cool.
You
Where
can,
like
yeah, it
everybody
fit
got to
a lot
participate.
more into it.
Yeah, it was awesome. So I'm really glad that this was such a big success for HBO Max. I mean HBO itself, AT&T itself, Warner Brothers, and I hope that they keep doing this in the future because I don't think that they're gonna lose fans like this. If anything, I think they'll gain more fans because like there's a lot of people out there that can't afford to go to San Diego Comic Con. there's a lot of people that just can't get their hands on a ticket, fly down, get a hotel, all that type of
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
So seeing something like this, for free was really nice. It was like I spent like all day like in my room just like locked up, told my family not to bother me. That's how like I was dedicated to just like watching this. So it was awesome. It was really nice, and it was a really big success. So
Yeah,
really
and
happy
shout
for
out to you.
HBO.
You were giving me all the tips and passing over every link there was possible about the news because I was away all
When you were in
day.
the middle of the
I
ocean.
was in the middle of the ocean fishing with my family. Yeah.
Yeah.
um, all right, folks. On our upcoming episode, we're gonna discuss and theorize about what we think might happen in Flashpoint and what we want to see in Justice League. But we would love to hear from you guys. On our YouTube page and on our social media. Please keep the conversation going. Let us know your thoughts on what you expected from fandom, what you expected, what you actually got, were you happy with it, and give us suggestions as to what else you guys would like for us to talk about. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Peace.